Boy. Oh my goodness. I did again.
Sorry.
I was on for so long I forgot to hit record. So the whole beginning, that's all right. We all know what we're doing. We've it's kind of reiterating information. So the 6 tastes, as we were talking last week within the plants, and Ashley and I went over a little bit last night, and that's all on the recording. So we'll send that out. There's a pretty cool thing. They are also related to the organs. So as we know, certain organs are pitta organs, certain organs are vata, and certain organs are kapha organs, and they all have to play within this. So that's in the Ayurveda course. So anyone interested, like after we start to wind this up, if anyone really wants to learn about their body and Ayurveda and like all of the subdoshas and things, that course, the Ayurveda course is really, that's where we go like really in depth and really learn. But so the sweet taste is associated with the thyroid and the upper lungs. So if you're kind of thinking of sweet taste and what you can actually like pacify and balance, sour is the lungs. So think of so sour is hot, and what does it do? It kind of pulls. So it helps keep those lungs clean. And the sour taste, as it like helps with digestion, it kind of revs up. So it actually helps clear the lungs all the way down into like all those little alveoli, like as slow as it can get. Salt is in the kidneys, which makes sense. So salt is like purifying the blood and doing, but it also needs, the kidneys are purifying the blood from the liver that has come in, that food in the blood comes in, and then the kidneys start to purify, but it needs that salt to hold in the moisture as well. Again, the body is so brilliant. And then the pungent is the stomach and the heart. So what does pungent do? It heats and it's fire. And what is the stomach? Is a pitta organ, it's fire. That's where our Agni is. That's where we want to get our digestive fire nice and strong all the time to break down the food, to transform it. Well, transforming is the last stage. You want to break it down so it absorbs, it assimilates into the body, and then it transforms itself into new tissues. So as we're eating all these good foods,
Ellie, what are you doing?
We're making new tissue for our body. And then the bitter is the pancreas, the liver, and the spleen. And again, that bitter is that tightening, that extracting. And what is the bitter? The spleen and the liver, it's pulling things out of your body. It's getting things, it's doing. So it's this, these tastes are associated with this. And astringent is the colon. And the colon is where we're extracting the last bit of nutrient, the last bit of water. And that's exactly what astringent will do. It pulls the water out of your body and it tightens things up. So these taste, as you like, say you have a little bit of something going on with one of your organs, if you were to incorporate a little bit more of that taste in your diet, you're helping that particular organ. So I love that part. I think that's pretty cool.
I have a dumb question.
No questions are dumb.
Okay, well, okay, for me. Yes, because, okay, so for people who have thyroid issues, like such as me, is that why I crave something sweet? And should I
Sweet though,
give into it? Not
yes,
sitting there eating a bag of M&Ms. What I'm saying is, should I give into it? Because I've been fighting it, but interest. So yes.
natural sweeteners. So absolutely, like, especially if you're having the thyroid imbalance. And actually, let's have a like a laser call, because I just came across in my masterclass a whole bunch of information on the thyroid issues and things.
Yeah,
so we'll do our laser call on that. So the sweet taste, but you want it in natural, really good. So you want a little bit, now it's summertime, you want some juicy fruits. You want like white or brown rice. It's easy to digest, but it's feeding that tissue. It's going to that part. You don't want to have like sweet chocolates or things like that. No like cane sugar, like try to eliminate that.
Oh,
coconut
like
sugar,
strawberries.
if you're gonna make something.
I'm telling you, yeah, I could eat like
grains. If you have the ability to choose a really good, like a local grist mill or something where you can have local grains, the lighter grains, yes, give into the sweet, because it's going to help with the thyroid without going, overboard.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
Yeah, your body's pretty brilliant. If you're
Interesting.
listening to it, it's going to tell you where it's lacking, unless you are in a really, really doshic imbalance. Um, so like a pitta person craves hot peppers and spicy foods and oily things. And because the more you eat it, the more the body will crave it. And a kapha person loves pasta and cheese and ice cream and all stuff. And it's the worst things for them in a kapha imbalance.
Right.
So you have to know to listen. Is it when you're depleted or when you're just in an overload of that dosha?
Okay.
So, so again, the six tastes are super, super important. They are also associated with the sweet taste is earth and water. So if you're having a very pitta or vata, you're hot, you're oily, you are dry or something, you're going to go towards earth and water. So you're going to want that sweet taste. Um, Sour is earth and fire, as we discussed before. So that sour could just be lemons and limes. Again, that helps, that starts digestion. Vata and kapha have irregular and slow digestion. So sour is very good for vata and kapha doshas. Salty is water and fire. Makes kind of sense. Salt is heating and it actually helps us retain water. So it's the water and fire element. Pungent is air and fire, which again, in a pitta summertime, we don't want a bunch of the pungent. We want that more in the spring to kind of get things out of us. Bitter, that's air and ether. Bitter is okay in the summer, but not all, because it's extracting and it like tightens tissues up. And astringent, that's air and earth. And that is another that pulls out of the body. So all of the leafy greens have amazing amount of nutrients and phytonutrients and antioxidants. But if we overdo it and only do that in the summer, we can find that it's extracting too much out of us. We need a little bit more of that sweet and maybe leaving a little bit of the sour within us. So again, the six tastes, if you could have them at every meal, that would be like the most amazing, which most of us don't and can't. But every day, if you think of those six tastes, try to incorporate them at least every day, because that's how the body knows what to pull and what to take, and that's how you develop better, stronger tissue. Each dosha, each dhatu, each tissue starts to form the next layer, but you have to have a good layer form to feed the next layer, to feed the next layer. So it's our blood that feeds our plasma, feeds our red blood, feeds our muscle, and then our fat, then down to our bone, then down to our bone marrow, then down to our reproductive organs. So our reproductive organs and like the bone marrow are the last. And if that nutrient trail has made it all the way to the end, that's when we build ojas, which is our immune system. So in order to build a healthy immune system, we have to feed all seven tissues first. So that's why we are so out of balance and so out of whack and so autoimmune issues and all, because we haven't fed the tissue down to the reserve of like this perfect golden essence at the end. That's our ojas. So to get there is not that easy. But if we're conscious of it, trying to add these little things in and these tips and these tricks and eating well, sleeping well, hydrating, it all helps. So, anyone have any great recipe books, cookbooks, any good recipes that they would love to share, or is their favorite, or anyone want to know kind of what I have so many so many cookbooks, but oh, here's a really great one. Here's a great recipe for the summertime, and it's super, super easy. Um, it's just called vegan summer pasta. So it's super simple. You would find like a quinoa pasta or something. If you can have fun, make your own pasta, like for a pasta party. But if not, in the summertime especially, try to choose one of those alternate flours that might be easier to digest, maybe have a little more nutrition than just a semolina flour or something. So I always choose like brown rice or quinoa or something. You can find all those creative pastas, you know, especially sometimes you can find even a fresh one. That's super simple. So you would go to the farmer's market, go to your garden, zucchini, tomatoes. Um, what else did I put in it? I have a photo of it. All of your herbs. Oh, asparagus. I always put like a little bit of asparagus in it, but go to your garden and see what you have in, especially like in abundance or what you got from the farmer's market. And you just get a big, you want the tomatoes to more or less be like your juice. So you get the whole tomatoes and sometimes even just the little cherry tomatoes or the plum tomatoes, and you would cut them up, saute them in a little bit of really light oils, and then you let the tomatoes kind of marinate. Maybe you added some eggplant, and if you're kind of worried about the eggplant, take the skin off. Just peel the skin right off of them, and then you've got I wouldn't add like carrots or any of the root vegetables. You want this one to be more airy and light because it's summertime. So you're going to add those lighter, even the stockier. So like the asparagus, um, maybe you like peas, something like that, that happens to be grown on the vine, any kind of beans or things like that. You saute those in. And then again, you add a little bit of, just a little bit of water as you're boiling this, and all those flavors mold. And then the tomatoes become that like real juicy essence to it, and it's a really fast sauce. It doesn't cook forever like you know, grandma's Sunday sauce. This is a summer, really quick. You have your pasta already going, take your sauce, flip it a few times. You can add some white wine to it to add like a little bit of a secondary flavor, a little bit of salt, pepper if you want, but then your fresh herbs go into it. So you have your basil. I actually grow the holy basil, and that has a minty flavor to it, sort of. So I put a little bit of that in. I just go to the garden and pull out, maybe I want some fresh oregano, always a fresh little fresh oregano. Maybe you want some thyme in it, depending on what flavors you want in it. You toss it. You can even have some broccoli. People have broccoli growing by the end of the summer, some cauliflower, whatever your vegetables are. And then you just put it over this fresh pasta, and it's amazing. And all that essence from those fresh fruits is just like absorbed into the skin, into the tissue. So, and you can add if you're in the little bit of a kapha imbalance and you want a little bit of heat to it, add a fresh pepper to it, some kind of a pepper that's growing locally or
I'm so
um,
gonna try again.
yeah, this is a really good, easy one. And then like pestos in the summer, maybe don't just stick to basil. Try add parsley if you have a holy basil. Like find whatever greens. You can even make spinach pesto. You can make chard pesto. You can mix a few of them, so you're getting all the nutrients of those greens. And as long as you have like a food processor or a blender, you can blend any of those together, and then you add like your garlic, your lemon, if you want cheese or whatever you want in the pine nuts. So many variations instead of just basil pesto, and they're really delicious. And they add like just a different like taste, a little bit different element to it. So try different pestos. It's really a lot of fun, and it's super simple. You just throw the ingredients in.
I made a really good recipe at Deb that I think you guys should definitely try out. It was so easy.
The farro one that I was hoping that you would do you have it on somewhere you can send it to us in an email?
I definitely can. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll send it to you in an email. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I bought
so
farro, so send that.
I have farro too. I was waiting. I'm like, I want that one. I got to try.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'll send you ladies the recipe. It is like one of the best things I've made in so long. It was like my girlfriends and I were on this bachelorette party, and we were making these, we were calling them like weird breakfast salads. So like we would just like throw a bunch of herbs and like whatever we had lying around, like herbs and greens and like light and a squeeze of lime and salt and pepper, and that was it. And that's like what we were eating. And
nice.
And so from there, I like text my friend. I'm like, I need like a dinner that's like our weird breakfast salads. And so she's like, okay, I have one for you. So I just make farro, and you keep it, like cook it and then cool it, and then shave a fennel, like a fennel bulb, some radish,
cooling,
arugula, a bunch of herbs. So like I just used whatever I had. I had dill, I had oregano, mint, cilantro. I had like just a bunch of different herbs. I'm trying to think. I had scallions, but I've also used like spring onions. So like kind of like those spring onions that are just popping up are really good.
In your yard.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to think if pistachios. So, and I also crushed up pistachios and then just made a really simple vinaigrette. So just olive oil, lemon juice, lemon zest, and salt and pepper. And it is heaven. Like it's just the most delicious thing you'll ever eat.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I'm gonna try
Yeah.
that. I have farro right in my cupboard.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll type it up later and send it to you ladies. The recipe is like, and it's so easy and it's so impressive. People are like, "Oh my god, it's amazing!" And you're just tricking them all, and it's really healthy.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, it's just something I made up. It's really really good. It's not healthy at all.
Yeah, and you can put as much greens. Like I put a ton of arugula in last time, so it was like really
That
like green. It was so
and it's
good.
bitter, and that's like a little bit the spicy. It's like a
Yeah,
peppery green.
yeah. That was like I told Ben last night that I was making dinner, and he's like, "Oh, we're having salad," and I'm like, "It's the farro salad." He goes, "Oh, okay."
That's cute. Yeah, I bought it and did not know what to do with it, so I'm excited.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, you are gonna be
Yeah.
so thrilled. This recipe is
Yeah.
so good.
Ash, I have a cookbook. And a cookbook for you that you would or anyone, but it's more on. So do you ever follow Sahara Rose?
Oh no.
She's a little wacky. She's so fun though. She's like this.
Okay, that's a girl.
Yeah, but so this is her cookbook that she made. She first wrote it years and years ago, and then she went to India and took all the photos and everything for it. But it's really it tries to incorporate the six taste, but a lot of it has like right here, six taste bowl.
Oh, cool.
So, but it has
Who is it?
It's a Sahara Rose. She has a podcast. She's wacky. She does like these goddess things and all. Like she's got this whole community. But I listened to her years ago when she first started, and she has a great little story coming into. She's born in a Indian family, but then decided to do her own thing, and so she's written. She was
I found her on Instagram.
She was. Yeah, I was just gonna say she was commissioned to write the Idiot's Guide to Ayurveda. So she's the one who wrote the first one. They kind of did. She was a personal trainer and all this, but she was diving into Ayurveda and being Indian in her roots. She wanted to learn this and go in. So she went against
so cool
things, and she wrote this great little cookbook. And it came out like a year or two ago, so I got it like hot off the presses. But it's really great because it goes into the explanations of the six taste. It goes and it tells you about pitta and kapha and vata and all of that, but in a simpler language than some of the other texts are very technological. Like but this cookbook is kind of, and in my opinion, there's a lot more summer ingredients in this one than there are winter and things. So, and it's a pretty book.
Yeah, I love that.
Very
I definitely
cool.
have to check it out.
Yeah.
One more silly recipe, and Deb, that's like the easiest thing. It's not even a recipe. It's like mine and Ben's favorite like dinner thing lately. It's just so fresh and light. We just been cutting up tomatoes and putting them on a plate, a tiny drizzle of olive oil, and that flaky sea salt, like a good sprinkle of flaky sea salt, and that's it. And both of us like devour them. Like it's the most delicious thing, and it's so simple. Yeah, like that flaky Malden salt. Have you had that Malden's? Oh my god, amazing!
It is. It is so good, so good.
But yeah, but am I on the phone?
But Patty, we can.
Yeah, you're here, Graham.
You're here.
Can hear you, Graham.
I've tried 14 times to say something and nobody hears.
Oh, we hear you now.
Well, I don't know how I've got the videos gone, but now you can finally hear me.
Oh, sorry. You can just hit that little camera on the bottom and your video will come back.
Little camera. I don't have a little camera.
Left on the bottom, I think there's a little tiny camera, it looks like.
No, there isn't.
A movie camera.
I just wanted to ask you about kohlrabi. Mine's coming along. Do you ever use that?
Yes, last year I used it all the time, and this year I didn't find the plant, so I did not plant it. But
well, I got 4 of them.
Mine were this big last year.
They look pretty good, and I didn't know what you were putting them into. They said you can eat them like either.
I ate them raw. I cooked them. You can slice them. They are so high in nutrition. And I wasn't eating them fast enough because I had quite a few of them that
I only have 4 and it said you can eat them either raw or cook them. So didn't know what you were putting yours into.
Yeah, I did everything. Like I said, I would shave it, I steamed it, I sauteed it, I put it right on salads, like very thin, and that is filled with nutrition, antioxidants, and it's that is really, really,
I've never
really,
heard of kohlrabi before or seen it.
yeah. It almost looks like a beautiful colored, almost, but it comes out of the ground like a fennel bulb, and
Oh,
then it
Like a
has the
beet.
shoots that come out.
It's
It's really,
shape of a big beet, but
yeah.
it shows it like yellow on the little ticket that comes with it, but mine is a little different color.
Yeah, I think they're like green and a little bit of a, I think mine had a pinkish
Yeah,
hue
I was
to
gonna
it.
say, I think purpley.
that's cool.
Yeah, they're pretty and they're very, very, very nutritious, very good.
I was that the bulb was in the ground like a beet or that, but it's not. It's on top of the ground.
Yes.
They are popping up though. They're looking good.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Let me
But
just,
everything else is gone. My kale and everything is just about depleted.
yeah, I had to pick a bunch of mine out.
Oh, I hear your birds coming on.
Here come my birds.
Yeah, mine are going crazy too.
I know I should put the, I have a recipe that I did last year in a cooking class, and it's orange ginger marinated tempeh over garden greens.
Oh, that
Super
sounds
simple.
good.
I'll email that to everyone. It's just 1 pack of tempeh, and then it's orange juice and maple syrup and coconut oil, apple cider vinegar. Like it's really light.
Mm.
You add a little bit of ginger and avocado, and you put it on top of mixed greens. Amazing.
Oh,
Yum.
that sounds so good.
It's so
That's
good and
actually
it's really light.
interesting that you're saying about tempeh. So that's another one that I'm kind of confused about, like soy. I feel like I hear so much bad press about soy that I'm like kind of conditioned to like avoid it. But
Soy is very nourishing to vata and very good for pitta. Kapha, not so much because it has that that heaviness to it, and kapha is very heavy. So I don't think, although in that nourishment, having the soy, I mean, it's soy and the rice or the grain or whichever one that you choose. So depending on your dosha, it could be balancing or it could be, aggravating at that time. But I think within the kapha and within your what you're doing and stuff, it's that grounding nourishment. So like dairy and things for you, and soy, certain things are very good for you. Again, soy is like, for me, it's very good, but not to eat it all the time. But
okay.
it's super nutritious, and the way that they do it, if you get the really good organic ones, and the ones I get, like this 7 grain one, that one's really
Oh
good.
wow. Yeah, that's really
So,
good to know because I just feel like I've heard a lot about like soy like being like a hormone disruptor and it can like make estrogen out of what like all these crazy things. And I don't know if that's just like an excess or like poor forms of
it's
it,
in
but
it,
I kind of
yes,
was like
in excess,
avoiding it.
and the way, again, it's one of the hugest monocrops now,
Um,
and the way that they're sourcing it, the way that they're spraying it. So if you can find a really good sourced organic, it's actually very good for you.
okay, maybe that's something else you could share with us if you don't mind, like maybe the tempeh and the tofus that you'd recommend because I do really like it. Especially
Yes.
now that I have my air fryer, I like would love to make it again. I was just kind of scared away from it for a while, but I do really
Yeah.
enjoy it. So
I love it when I saute it in a pan with even maybe some coconut aminos or a little bit of avocado oil, whatever. I like it to get a little crispy. It's just me. I absolutely love that. And then to put like lime and cilantro on that crispiness of the aminos that have that like saltiness to them. I love it.
yeah, it sounds really good.
I'm just looking here. So another easy one to do, we're going to be grilling, and sometimes in the summertime, more times than not, you would choose a lighter, like maybe a chicken over beef or fish, very light fish. And so in the summer, I love to grill fish. I'll grill chicken for everyone. I don't eat it, but salmon. So I make this really simple. So In the summertime, I really like to incorporate grilled fruits with my fish, or
Yum.
even with a chicken or something, but especially on my fish. So I'm always looking around. Whatever I have, could be pineapples, plums, peaches, pears. I poach pears more than I grill them, but anything I can come up with to grill, it really complements. And the cooked fruit is okay to complement a protein, where a raw, you don't want to mix a raw with a cooked protein. So there's a super simple one that I just kind of make up in the summertime when I'm going. So there's always tons of rosemary in my garden. So I do a grilled rosemary salmon. So in the afternoon or even in the morning, you would take your salmon or your chicken, if you don't like fish, and you kind of marinate it in your olive oil, avocado oil, whichever is your oil of choice, sunflower seed oil. You marinate it with that. You break up the rosemary like in your hands and you rub it on there with a little salt and pepper, and just let it go in the refrigerator, for the day. Squeeze some lemon or lime juice if you want on it. And then you would take, I love to find really good plums and peaches in the summertime. You take your plums, your peaches, whichever you have, cut them in half and kind of put a little bit of oil on them. You put them right on the grill. And then I love to serve the salmon over bok choy. So I soak my bok choy in a tiny bit of water just as I'm prepping my things or I'm making my grill go, whatever. And then I take that out and I rub. Again, touch your food. There could be some, especially if you're getting really good local produce, touch it. Like, don't pick it up with utensils and do things like, of course, with your meats, wash them off, whatever, but touch the food, rub your hands on the oil. Like, don't always use a spoon or like a utensil. Like, get some of that microbiome that's in that sandy soil or whatever you're doing, get it like in you. So I take the bok choy and I rub the oil all over it. And I do the same thing. I grill that in avocado oil. And then I sometimes take the sprig of rosemary, of course, and then put it on top and under the salmon when I'm flipping it. Little bit of salt and pepper. And then I make, the Bragg's, the sesame, like that sesame ginger, I think it's sesame ginger marinade or something that Bragg's makes. That's amazing to keep in your refrigerator for the summertime. You can change it into so many different recipes. You take out the bottle, you add a little bit too. So I add like orange, lemon, lime, something like that to it. And then I put it on top of the salmon after I flip it over to the right side up. And then when I serve it, it drizzle with a little bit of honey. It's amazingly sweet but light and like just mixed with all six taste. And you have like this, like it, you present it looking like a gourmet meal, and it's so simple. So I have that one as well. So that's your salmon, plums, bok choy, avocado oil, that sprig of rosemary, the Bragg's ginger marinade, salt, pepper, and honey. And that's really like all you need. So that's a really good one.
I'm adding all these things to my shopping cart as we're talking.
Yes, add them. Coleslaw is another, like, people are like, oh, coleslaw and all that in the summertime. If you don't like to eat real mayonnaise, like if you find a real mayonnaise, it's not really bad for you. It's the processed mayonnaises that are horrible. So, but I always buy a vegan one, and I have this one brand, I can't remember the name right now, that is really, really good. It's like 4 ingredients in their vegan mayonnaise. It's not made with 13 ingredients that you can't, pronounce. And if you were to take your coleslaw and actually make it, like really make it your own little bit, it really is good for your digestion. It's really good to complement a sandwich or a wrap or something in the summertime. So again, I prefer the vegan mayonnaise, but if you don't, you could just have your shredded carrots. I put kohlrabi in mine, the vegan mayo, I actually love to put in raisins in mine as well. Really good for you. Apple cider vinegar, and some of the apple cider vinegars come with honey, but I add like a little bit of my own honey, and then lime juice. And that's all you need for your slaw. Like, that's your coleslaw. So you could have your carrots, your cabbage, and kohlrabi. You shred them all down, put them in thing, and just kind of mix all of those. Sometimes I take a little side container and I mix my coleslaw, the marinade, and then I put it all together. But really, really simple things like that are easy for the summer, and they're easy they help digestion, they cool us down. Whole bunch of different ways we can go. Any other like questions on food for the summer? Again, we're going to make it lighter. We're going to make it easier digesting. We can make anything into a soup, especially if it's really hot out. All of those cucumber soups, tomato soup. I always make a beet and green soup in the summertime just because I always have a lot of beets and greens. But I serve it with a little bit of a drizzle of coconut milk. So that cools the body down, and I eat it more on the cooler room temperature rather than a hot soup. So I like taking a whole bunch of things like that and just turning them into a soup, add some greens, puree it to death. You've got this gorgeous soup, add a little bit of coconut milk to it to make it creamy if you like. So basically, if we stock our kitchen, our cabinets, if we like really get ourselves set up, anytime we go to the cabinet, the refrigerator, maybe you're feeling that you want a little bit of this or a little bit of that. If all your ingredients are there and you can make anything you want, you can just kind of come up with something. And if you know more of the cooling foods and spices and teas and things, and you have them on hand, you're going to be making cooler, calming to the body summer ingredients, summer recipes. So any questions on, I know that's a ton of information, but I'll share my recipes and the books.
Maybe we could just share too, even in our text chain, like
Yes.
start a fun, like just a recipe text chain, send you the pictures.
Or we can put it back into the Facebook thing as well, because other people might join in just with some recipes. This one, I think we went over in the cleanse and all the Ayurvedic. This is a really good one. This one, if you have a lot of meat eaters or like a real farm to table, this one I love. This has everything in it, and it also complements it with the wines and all of that. So it's John Ash. He did his. This is the one I had on, I think, in the text the other day, Eat, Taste, Heal. This is a very popular Ayurvedic cookbook. It teaches you how to balance and actually heal the body. So this is a good one. And these two are not Ayurvedic, but they are more whole food oriented. So I love these. She had cancer, very, very bad cancer. And she brought herself out of Western diet, Western doctors telling her what to do. And her mom was like super nervous because she went into this complete disaster of her own doing, like crushed her body and then brought it back to health. So she is fantastic. She has an Instagram. These are the 10-minute recipes. And I also have her other book, her actual full cookbook. And these are the tiny little ones, but be a little leery because she's not, she does not have any Ayurveda in here. So balancing, like, know your dosha. So some of the recipes maybe you don't pick, but most of them are pretty great. And I make her chocolate because most recipes for chocolate, when you make your own, are exactly the same. But I make her like her peanut butter cups all the time. And you just keep them in the freezer and you have peanut butter cups with sesame seeds or tahini or whatever you want to add.
I think that seems like another share, Aunt Deb. That one's one we would need.
When I get down to Katie, she's like, are you going to make us those peanut butter cups? And Katie's gets tahini in them. Somebody gets almond butter in them. So
I need that recipe. Oh my gosh, that sounds so good.
I think in this summer, I'm going to go back. Last summer, I did every Saturday, I did cooking classes. So I think I'm going to offer that again, but I'm going to set it up where it's virtual more because I had like hands-on last year. So
yeah, that'd be fun.
And Catherine, this was in our email, I think too. Catherine, this one is really great too. Cookie and Kate. So she's got, if you like Google any recipe, Cookie and Kate will come up. And there's a bunch in here too. But again, some for some doshas might not work. So just kind of alter it to your dosha. You might have to take an ingredient out, put an ingredient in, make it cooler, make it hotter, that's the fun of really understanding your dosha and Ayurvedic cooking, because you can alter anything, anyone's great recipe, you can alter it for yourself, which is what I do on everything. I just make it up. All right. Any questions, Ash? I guess we somehow lost Maureen. She either lost her internet or did something. Mom, any questions?
Oh, God,
No.
I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
Well, we're going to have to help you with that one then.
No, I mean, I just like know if somebody's either spirited or unspirited, calling people dosha and faka and all this stuff. I haven't a clue what
Oh,
that
I'm
is.
sorry. Okay, so I'll go back to, and I'll tell you that, and I'll give you the little test that there's a couple questions you ask, and it will tell you what your body constitution is made up more of one than the other. So, but you're pretty much vata pitta.
If you say so.
I could tell you. Would you say, Ash?
Sounds like it's right to me. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lost my picture a long time ago. When I got the voice to you, the picture disappeared.
Oh, darn
We'll have
it.
to figure it out. Yeah. We'll help you.
All right.
No, this is great. I love recipe ideas because the past few days, not to like take up too much, just another minute here.
No, that's
I was
good.
having trouble like finding what I didn't want to eat anything that I had. Like nothing was really jumping out to me. And now that we're talking, like everything you've mentioned, I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to eat. Like I feel like you're right. Like my body's just shifting that summer light, like
Your
easy,
body
crunchy,
is
cool.
shifting, and it's intelligent enough to know, because now you're listening to it.
Yeah.
It does not want those things. That's why we transition. And in Ayurveda, you don't make a whole bunch, like you don't buy gigantic bulk of spices and things. You buy smaller portions, so you can change them out seasonally, and you can make them fresh, like once a month. Grind your spices, like have your fresh things, like anything that's been in your cabinet in a spice jar or something for like a year or so, might as well just throw it out, because right now it's basically just a label. Like there's no nutrient value left in it.
Nice. Yeah. And that's really nice. And no, this is so well timed, as it always is. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All righty, off to do my meds.
Yes. All right. All right, ladies, I love you. Let's share some recipes. I will email mine that I have, and I'll give you all of those that I have. I have a ton of them on my Google Docs. And we'll get Maureen to share some of hers, and Ash, send yours.
Yes, 100%.
All right, ladies, I love you.
All right, love you. Bye, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Remember, never mind, say it after. I love you guys.